Welcome back to the deep dive. Now, usually you join us, and we've got this massive stack of articles, research papers, maybe a few confusing PDFs we're trying to make sense of.
Right.
But today is a little different. Today, we are bringing you a special edition. This is the WeCyberYou Unlocked podcast.
It's a bit of a focus session today. We're really zooming in on one thing.
Exactly. And because this is the WeCyberYou Unlocked edition, I want to be super transparent about where our intel is coming from. Every single fact, every terrifying stat, all of it comes directly from WeCyberYou.
And if you follow this space, you know they are basically the gold standard for educational cybersecurity content right now.
They really are. And the report we're digging into today, Keylogger's attack, I mean, it reads like a technical manual for a spy movie. It's dense, but man, is it eye-opening.
It's funny you say spy movie.
Yeah. Because
when I saw the topic was keyloggers, that's exactly what I thought of. You know, the classic trope, the guy in a van, the super fast typist hacking the mainframe.
But looking at this report, it's not really fiction, is it?
I wish it were. The reality is actually much more mundane, which you could argue makes it even scarier.
How so?
In the movies, hacking is loud.
Yeah.
It's visual. Keyloggers, they are the complete opposite. Their whole identity is defined by their silence.
So the mission for today is to take this WeCyberYou report and really pull it apart. We need to understand what these things actually are, how they get past all the security tools we spend so much money on, and why WeCyberYou calls them one of the most dangerous tools for credential theft.
And just a heads up for everyone listening, we're going to get into some mechanics that might make you look at your keyboard a little differently by the end of this.
I'm already looking at my keyboard differently, and we haven't even started, so let's get into the definition. I feel like keylogger is a term everyone thinks they know.
Sure. It logs keys. Simple.
Right. But WeCyberYou gives us a much more specific, almost behavioral definition.
They do. They define it primarily as a surveillance tool. And the key phrase here is capture and record every keystroke. Yeah, it sounds simple, but you have to think about the implication of every...
Well, sure. It means if I type an email, it gets the email.
Gets the email, yes. But it also gets the sentence you typed, realized was maybe a bit too angry, and then backspace to delete.
Oh.
Right.
I hadn't even thought about that.
The recipient never sees that angry outburst, but the keylogger does. It captures your stream of consciousness before you filter it for the world.
That is deeply unsettling. It's not just data theft. It's almost like mind reading.
In a way, yeah. It captures search queries, even the embarrassing ones you open in incognito mode. It grabs your private chats, your banking details, everything. And as the report highlights, this all happens often without the user's knowledge or consent.
It's like a little invisible scribe standing over your shoulder.
That's a perfect way to put it. Now, you mentioned secure platforms a second ago.
Right. And I think this is where a lot of people, myself included, get a false sense of security. We see the little padlock icon in the browser, or we use apps that talk about end-to-end encryption.
Yeah.
Doesn't that stop this?
That is the million-dollar question. And the answer, unfortunately, is no. Think about how it works. Encryption protects data while it's in transit.
While it's traveling from my computer to the server.
Exactly. A keylogger sits at the source. It's grabbing the data before it even gets encrypted.
So the encryption tunnel is bulletproof, but there's a guy standing at the entrance robbing you before you can even get in.
Perfect analogy. You're locking the front door while the thief is already on your couch.
Okay, so we know what it is. It's a digital stalker. Let's talk about how it exists. The WeCyberYou report breaks this down into two forms, software and hardware. Let's start with software, because I'm guessing that's the most common.
Absolutely. Software keyloggers are, well, they're malicious code. They are programs just like Word or your browser, but with malicious intent.
But I can't just catch a program. I have to install it, right? I have to make a mistake somewhere.
Technically, yes. But the attackers are smart. They know you aren't going to download a file called stealmypasswords.exe, so they use deception.
The report lists the usual suspects. Infected apps, email attachments.
Cracked software, fake updates.
The fake update one always gets me. You're on a site, a pop-up says your Flash player is out of date, and you think you're being responsible by clicking update.
Exactly. You think you're doing maintenance, but you're actually executing a dropper. And the psychology here is fascinating. Attackers often bundle the keylogger with legitimate software. It's Trojan.
So you download that cracked version of some expensive video editing software.
And the software actually works.
Yeah.
It works perfectly. The editor opens, you edit your movie. But while that's happening, a secondary process has silently just spawned in the background.
In the background. We hear that phrase a lot, But as a user, if I have a program running, I can see it. There's a window or an icon in my taskbar.
Not with these. These are designed for persistence and obfuscation. They run as system processes. If you open your task manager, you wouldn't see keylogger.exe. You'd see something that sounds boring like svcoast.exe or system update service.
So they hide in plain sight among the hundreds of other boring processes that make the computer work.
Precisely. It logs your keystrokes, saves them to a tiny encrypted file hidden deep in your system, and then when you're not looking, it sends that file to the attacker.
It phones home.
It phones home with your entire life story, basically.
Wait, that's software. It's terrifying, but it makes sense to me. It's code. But the second category in the report, this is where I have some questions. Hardware keyloggers.
The physical threat.
Yeah. I have to push back a little on this. I mean, we're living in 2026. Everything is wireless. I use a Bluetooth keyboard. My laptop has the keyboard built right in. The idea of a physical bug, it feels very 1990s. Is this still a relevant threat?
That is a very fair pushback. And you're right. You're sitting at home with a MacBook Air. You're probably not the target for a hardware keylogger.
Right.
But think about a corporate environment. Think about banks, hospitals, libraries, universities.
Places with those big desktop towers under the desk.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Places with legacy hardware. And you have to consider something called the evil maid attack.
The evil maid attack. That sounds dramatic.
It's a classic security term. It just means a scenario where an attacker has physical access to your device when you're not there.
Like a maid in a hotel room.
Or a disgruntled coworker in an office. If you leave your desktop unattended for just 2 minutes, that's enough time to reach around the back and plug in a device.
But wouldn't I see it? A weird dongle sticking out of my computer.
Not necessarily. These things have evolved. The report notes they can look like standard USB drives, or even those little charging adapters. Some are even embedded inside counterfeit cables.
Wait, wow. So I could borrow a charging cable from someone, plug it into my keyboard to charge it, and the cable itself is the spy.
That's the idea. And the most dangerous part of hardware keyloggers, and the report really stresses this, is how hard they are to detect.
Because they aren't software.
Right. Your antivirus software, it lives at the operating system level. It scans files and code. A hardware keylogger exists at the physical layer. So the antivirus is looking for bad code, but the threat is just a lump of plastic.
The computer doesn't even know it's there. It just sees a signal coming from the keyboard. It has no idea that signal passed through a recording device first. There is literally no digital footprint.
That is wild. It just bypasses the entire multi-billion-dollar cybersecurity software industry by being physical.
It's a good reminder that if an attacker has physical access to your machine, it's not really your machine anymore.
Okay, so we have invisible software and invisible hardware. But the WeCyberYou report goes further. It says the threat has evolved beyond just typing ABC. We're talking about advanced capabilities.
Yeah. This is where we move from passive recording to, well, active surveillance. Modern keyloggers are building a whole dossier on you.
Let's run through these because some of them genuinely surprised me. The first one listed is capturing screenshots.
This creates visual context. If I just have a text log of username, tab, password, enter, I can guess it's a login. But what if you're looking at a bank statement PDF? You aren't typing the balance, so a normal keylogger would miss it.
But a screenshot gets it instantly.
Right. These can be set to snap a picture every time the mouse clicks or every time the active window changes. It's like a slideshow of your day.
Okay, the next feature. And I gotta say, this one hurt my feelings a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I've spent years training myself to use password managers. I generate that 40-character nonsense string, I hit copy, I paste it in, I feel secure because I never typed the password. Are you telling me that process is vulnerable?
It hurts to say it, but yes. This is clipboard activity monitoring, and it's a classic case of solving one problem only to run into another.
Explain that. I didn't touch the keys. How does it get the data?
You didn't. So a basic hardware keylogger might miss it. But think about what the clipboard is. It's a temporary storage space in your computer's memory.
Okay.
To make copy and paste work between different apps, that data has to be accessible system-wide.
So the clipboard is like a public bulletin board for the OS.
In a way, yeah. An advanced software keylogger doesn't just listen to the keyboard. It also pulls the clipboard API. It just sits there asking, hey, anything new on the clipboard? Over and over again.
So the moment I hit Command-C on that super secure 40-character password,
you are basically handing it to the malware on a silver platter.
That is so frustrating. It feels like you can't win.
Well, password managers are still much better than using the same password everywhere. But it shows that if your device itself is compromised, the input method doesn't really matter.
The system is the traitor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The report also mentions monitoring visited websites and form submissions. This feels like it's about context again. It is. It's about structuring the data for the criminal. Instead of a raw dump of keystrokes, the Keylogger organizes it. User visited WeCyberYou.com, user clicked login, user typed this username. It makes the theft efficient.
Turns the victim into a neat little database entry.
It does. And that brings us to the section of the report they title, The Danger of Discovery. And honestly, this is the part that really drives home why this is such a potent threat.
The too late factor.
Exactly. I mean, think about ransomware. If you get hit, you know it immediately. Your screen turns red, there's a skull and crossbones.
You're having a bad day right away.
But keyloggers, their whole success model depends on not being found. They're silent. The victim usually only realizes they have 1 weeks or even months later.
And the symptom isn't a computer glitch.
No. The symptom is your bank calling to say your account is empty, or IT asking why your credentials were used to access the server at 3 a.m. from another country.
So that dwell time, the time the attacker is inside before being found, it must be massive with these tools.
It is. And during that time, you're just continuing your normal life. Logging into everything, checking finances, sending private emails. You're feeding the beast.
It really emphasizes why WeCyberYou classifies this as one of the most dangerous tools out there. It's not just the theft, it's the duration of the theft.
It completely destroys the trust you have in your own machine.
So we've covered a lot of ground. We've defined the tool as a total surveillance system. We've looked at the software sneaking in. And again, people, stop clicking those fake updates. We've looked at the hardware hiding behind our desktops. And we've had our hearts broken about the clipboard.
It's a comprehensive threat for sure.
But before we wrap, I want to circle back to the source here. We are just scratching the surface of what's in the full documentation. This deep dive was powered entirely by WeCyberYou.
And this is just one topic. If you found this breakdown helpful, if you're sitting there thinking, wow, I didn't know about the clipboard thing, then you really need to go to the source.
Knowledge is the only real defense here. You can't defend against something you don't even understand.
That's it. If you know hardware keyloggers exist, maybe you'll check the USB port at the Internet Cafe. If you understand how fake updates work, maybe you'll hesitate next time.
So here is the call to action for everyone listening. If you want to stay ahead of these threats, you need to follow this channel. We're going to keep bringing you these unlocked editions. But more importantly, you need to visit WeCyberYou.com.
That's the hub, WeCyberYou.com. Bookmark it.
They are building an incredible library of educational content that is just. It's essential for navigating the modern web. Don't wait until something bad happens to start learning this stuff.
It's definitely better to be proactive than reactive.
And as we sign off, I want to leave you with one final thought. We talked about how hardware keyloggers leave no digital footprint.
Such a chilling concept.
It is. In our digital lives, we rely so heavily on tools to tell us we're safe. We run the scan, we look for the green check mark, we wait for that no threats found message, and when we see it, we relax.
But no threats found doesn't mean you're safe. It just means the software didn't find anything it recognized.
Exactly. The absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Just because your antivirus is happy doesn't mean no one is listening. Sometimes the threat isn't in the code. It's in the cable you just borrowed.
A paranoid thought, but a necessary one.
Thanks for listening to this special edition of the WeCyberYou Unlocked podcast. Stay safe, check your ports, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.